What's up with it, man? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment here again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not a member of the channel, and also hit the notification so that you're able to get each and every one of my videos. Now, KG has went on record defending LeBron, amongst everything that has taken place in the past couple of days following the confrontation with Isaiah Stewart, in which LeBron was suspended for a game, and Isaiah Stewart was suspended for 2 games. And KG, hasn't had the best relationship with LeBron. Of course, they were competitors, naturally so. And what is KG known for being? He's known for getting up under the opponent's skin. And KG is one of the loudest trash talkers in NBA history. And the thing about KG that I used to love the most too is that a lot of the times he was able to back it up. Let's just call it what it is. We're talking about a champion. We're talking about KG in terms of individual wise. KG was able to go on the court and set the tone, but he was an emotional player. That's just the way that he was. However, he had this to say about LeBron. He was basically saying that, he wanted to see when they were playing. He basically wanted to say that, LeBron, in terms of going at him and talking trash, he just did that just to see what LeBron was made of early on in his career, much like all the players do. They're gonna come in, they're gonna talk trash to you, they're gonna try to take your manhood from you. And basically, he was saying that a lot of people don't know about what they don't know about LeBron is that he'll talk shit to you, but he won't be loud about it. And he basically said Bron is a real one. Basically defending LeBron. Now, look here. I heard Shannon Sharp earlier on Undisputed saying that, this isn't the 80s, this isn't the 90s, and basically saying that, this isn't football where you have to fear man and everything. Now, I agree with them that this isn't the 80s, this isn't the 90s in terms of the physicality. Of course, it's not, And will it ever go back to that? Back to that time? I seriously doubt it. But I disagree with Shannon Sharp when he says about making the comparison to football and basketball. Yes, they are much different, but in terms of fearing the man, a lot of players were feared when they walked on the court. Jordan was feared, okay, by a lot of players, okay. Even as much as people don't think so, Magic was feared. Larry was feared. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was feared. Wilt Chamberlain was feared. Even AI, he wasn't the biggest guy in the world, but he was still feared. There were players that put fear and instilled fear in other players' minds. Now they're not gonna come out and they're not gonna say it, but rightfully so. They're gonna be, have that sort of, nervousness and that anxiety of facing up with those players. Now, naturally so in the NBA, man, it stands for, no bitches allowed. Let's just call it what it is. And the thing about it is I was always taught that, yeah, you can talk trash and you can talk shit, but you're even more respected if you can really back it up. Sometimes, a player is gonna come out there and not really say anything. And like for instance, Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan didn't really talk trash like that. He didn't talk shit like that. But guess what? Tim Duncan was successful on the court, and Tim Duncan is, seen as arguably the greatest power forward in some people's eyes, one of the greatest power forwards of all time. Different players get off in different ways. Some players, Jordan used to say he used to make up, certain things just so that he'll have something to feed off of. You know what I'm saying? Like for instance, Kobe Bryant, he fed off of the crowd. He fed off of, the hecklers, things of that nature. Certain players get off, in different ways. KG just happened to get off by trying to chin check the opponent and see what he was, clearly made of. And also to get up under the opponent's skin. There's nothing wrong with trash talking. It's a part of the game, and it happens in every sport. Everybody just thinks that it happens in basketball. No, it happens in football. And matter of fact, if you ever play football, I, one can argue that there's worse things said in football than there is in basketball, you know, and that's up for debate too as well. But the thing about it is that I think basketball always gets the biggest rap because you're right there with your opponent. You're right there in front of your opponent. Even though you're in front of your opponent, you know what I'm saying, in soccer and everything like that. But with soccer, you're constantly on the move. Basketball, you're constantly on the move too. Uh, but I think like, when it comes to doing at the free throw line, a lot of stuff is being said. A lot of stuff is being said. A lot of stuff is being said to players like LeBron. A lot of stuff was being said to MJ back in the days. A lot of stuff was being said to, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back in the days. A lot of stuff was being said to some of the other greats too. But it's how you react. You don't think Shaq gets talked to? I know that there's guys that probably, can't stand Shaq's guts, and hate the way, he's able to dominate and everything. So what do you think they used to do? They said, look, if I can't beat you physically, I'm gonna try to beat you mentally, you know? And the thing about it is that KG, I gotta give him credit on what he said. Now, people think that LeBron is just this old, quiet and stuff like that. And I think Shannon Sharp gets a little bit over his head when he says some of those things sometimes. LeBron is not quiet. LeBron does talk shit, and LeBron does say stuff, and LeBron does, and he will speak his mind. I can remember when he was talking shit to numerous of players or whatever, and going back and forth or whatnot. It's a part of the game. Some games, LeBron's not going to say anything, you know. But to think that okay, you're just going to say anything to this guy and he's not going to say anything back, where it's at a level where it's real personal or something like that, and he might feel some type of way about it. Oh, there might be repercussions because of that. Now, what he does on the court or what he does as payback, that's on him. But we can't look at this guy. Oh, it's just a nice guy and all this other stuff. No, I mean he's in the NBA for a reason. And you can't be in the NBA and be soft by any means. What's up, Jacory Royal? You said football is a whole different animal. If they heard the way they even talk, even in high school locker rooms, they try to cancel high school. Yeah, exactly, Jacory Royal. And man, locker rooms in general. Hey, listen, and this is gonna trip you out too. People think that, oh yeah, it's just basketball or it's just football. No, listen, I know I went to a softball practice one time with the girls at my high school, and let me just tell you this, man. Females say more foul shit than men. I'm just being real with you. Females say more foul shit than men. You just don't know it. Y'all think, oh, okay, yeah, of course we gonna be dogs, we gonna be hogs, you know what I'm saying? We we gonna be animals, we gonna be lions. But you got to understand that you're in a competitive environment. You're in an environment that, okay, you're not really you're wired to a lot of extent not to really give a fuck. That's what you're wired to be. When you're in the military, you're wired to not give a fuck. When you're playing a specific sport, or you're going to, there's a certain mentality that you got to have. And Herm Edwards put it in. He put it perfectly like this. He said, whenever you're playing football, you gotta have a little nasty in you. He said, whenever you're playing any type of sport, you gotta have a little nasty in you. If you're trying to compete, and you're trying to go out, and you're trying to win, you have to have a little nasty in you. And that's just a fact. The volleyball girls got it hard too. Yeah, exactly. Coaches are real life join. They say kinds of disrespectful shit, and you got to learn how to take it. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Listen, and listen. You would get it both ways. A lot of people think that, like, what Jordan was doing in practices, or what Jordan was the only one doing that type of stuff. Man, listen, every main player was talking talking all types of shit. You know what I'm saying? You've seen it with Kobe and Sasha Vujacic when they were going at it in practice. Man, that's just a little piece of the pie. And everybody thinks that, oh, we're supposed to be all nice and friendly. No, practices are actually supposed to be more hardcore than the game. So that way the games will be easier. That's just like whenever you're working out, your workout is supposed to be much, much more strenuous and much more difficult, and way harder than the actual game, or when you're in a game like situation. That way it'll be easier because you've been practicing so much. Well, what do you think that your teammates or everybody is trying to do to you? They're trying to get you ready mentally, and that's what Jordan was trying to do to get his troop, ready, because they were going to hear all types of shit. You're going to hear shit from the fans. You're going to hear shit from the opposing teammates. You're going to hear shit from the opposing coaches sometimes. You're going to hear shit from the opposite team's spouse. You're going to have hecklers. You're going to have people out there that absolutely can't stand you. You're going to have people up there that have this obsession that want something that bad to happen to you. And that's just the nature of the beast when you're playing professional sports, because you're in a arena, or you're in a stadium full of so many thousands of people that really don't give a fuck, and that's just the nature of the beast. But you can't sit there and tell thousands of people that are in that arena or in that stadium how to think, or how to cheer. Now, unfortunately, there are fans that take it a little bit overboard. You know, listen, I didn't. I've been heckled before. I've been heckled before. I've been talked to crazy before. They're gonna talk about your looks. They're gonna talk about, they're gonna talk about your game. They're gonna talk about how much you know, you suck. Why are you getting paid this much? Oh yeah, my son and my daughter, can play better than you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it PG-13. You know what I'm saying? But there are fans out there that take it overboard. And they actually say, some of these people actually say crazy stuff like, yeah, they'll chant your address or something like that, or they'll say some shit like, yeah, I know that you grew up on such and such street, and they used to tell me that you used to do this or used to do that, or I heard that you used to do this in high school or something like that, or they'll talk about your hair, your hairline, or they'll talk about, man, why are you going bald, or they're talking about get your teeth fixed, or you ugly, and all this other stuff. They'll say a lot of disrespectful stuff just to get up under your skin, and you have to be able to learn to absorb that and to be able to take that. Even like talking about your mom, or talking about your dad, or talking about somebody personal to you. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, some guys go. Unfortunately, they want to bring the kids in. You know, unfortunately, and some of these people have, they don't have any type of regard for that type of shit. They don't have any type of regard for that type of shit. Now, the, okay, this is another thing too. Now, people want to talk about, like Shannon Sharp was saying, okay, this is in the '80s, this is in the '90s, and but then when LeBron does it, oh, then he's seen as a bad person. But then when he doesn't do anything, when he sits there and people push him, or people do this, or people do that to him, right? Oh, then he's seen as soft. I mean, he got pushed by Najee Muhammad and didn't do anything. Didn't do anything. But of course, people are gonna say, okay, yeah, he's soft, or something like that, or like when Melo was about to get, he got into a fight or whatever, and then they were talking about how he backpedaled and all this other stuff. Like, yeah, but then when he does fight, when he stands there and fight, then guess what? He's the one getting the fine. He's the one getting the suspension, and he's the one getting talked about. So which one is it? What do you want him to do? I'm pretty sure. I'm not saying LeBron is no professional boxer, or he's like he's an MMA fighter, or his hands or feet are registered and no shit like that. But I'm I'm quite sure LeBron isn't gonna just sit there and let anybody just hit him or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And if he actually tried to defend himself, he probably could. Now I don't know what level of fighting he's on, but I mean you are talking about 6'8", 6'9", 250 pounds, and I don't think anybody that average height is just gonna feel like, okay, well, yeah, I could whoop his ass or something like that. I highly doubt it. I mean, we gotta be honest, and we gotta put things in perspective. You said, man, none of them niggas would do that to Brian. Yeah, exactly. Listen, everybody says all this stuff like what they'll do to guys that are 6'5", 6'6", and beyond and stuff like that. But if you seen him in life or real life or something like that, and he actually was to swing on you and actually hit you, then you got to understand. Okay, well, what am I fit to do? You probably 9 times out of 10 aren't going to do anything because he's physically strong. And I'm talking about people that aren't that size. If he's 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", 7 foot, you know what I'm saying? That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, it's about knowing when to pick your poison. LeBron is not out there. He's not gonna be stupid and go slap the shit out of somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Not only does this guy have, you know, he he has a lot of endorsements, and people don't know that when you do certain things like that are disrespectful, or slap somebody or something like that because of the kids looking and all this other stuff, you lose a lot of endorsements. And I know some people are like, well, what a big deal, man. He's got a lot of money anyways, but you're not you're sitting there, you're trying to pocket watch LeBron thing. You don't know what type of investment that this guy has. Some guys are willing to take that L. Some guys really don't care. Some guys don't really have those type of endorsements that LeBron has, like Julius Randle. I think he did a commercial with Broom, Broom. I was looking at it yesterday. He's starting to get a lot of endorsements and stuff like that now. You think Julius Randle, now that he's looked at, okay, they're putting him in a certain category now. You think he wants to mess up the bag like that? No. You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, if somebody run up on you or something like that, I don't expect for LeBron to. just be no pussy and just sit there and take it. No, you got to defend yourself, and people would understand that. And if they get rid of the endorsements, oh well, shit, fuck it, bye bye. You got to kick rocks. That's just life. But see, y'all, that goes back to what I was saying earlier about people separating the personal feelings about a particular player to with the game, man. People wanna be like, just because they don't like a particular player, they like KG and LeBron. Man, he don't him and LeBron aren't the greatest of friends or anything like that. Not friends or none of that. But he's not gonna sit up there and lie and say, oh yeah, well LeBron's not a real one. He kept it 100. He said Brown's the real one. You know, it came out of his own mouth. And see, people think that just because, oh, okay, you give a compliment or you pay homage to somebody or you show them respect or something like that, they automatically think that you caping. No, we're not caping, motherfucker. Okay, we're not doing that shit. What I'm able to do is I'm able to show some respect, to a person. You know what I'm saying? Whether I like them or not, whether I like what they do or not. And some of y'all don't know how to do that. Y'all want to get in your personal feelings to the point where, okay, like he could go push old lady. Oh no, not push an old lady. He could go. An old lady could try to hit him, and he didn't even do anything, right? Just straight up just hitting them for no reason and stuff. But because you hate that man so much and everything like that, you be like, yeah, get him, old lady. Not realizing that, okay, he's not fighting back. And he didn't fight back. There are a lot of people saying that, okay, man, she's wrong. She shouldn't have done that. But you sitting there, you be like, well, you know what? He deserved that for all the stuff. That's what y'all do. That's the type of silly shit that people do. Seriously. So I agree. KG, he spoke how he felt. He spoke how he felt. He's speaking from the heart, like KG normally does. Now I don't like the whole situation how the team did Ray Allen and stuff like that. I really don't like that. Now that's right. That right there, KG and Paul Pierce and those guys, they're wrong for what they did with the Ray Allen situation and how they handled it. Come on, man, get over that shit. That's on the court shit. But to be able to take it personal, and look, and this is the thing, it didn't affect you financially. So why are you tripping about the shit? As long as it didn't, listen, as long as Ray Allen going to Miami from Boston to Miami, as long as it didn't fuck with your pockets and it didn't fuck with the Celtics pockets, then what are you tripping about? Oh man, that's unloyal. Da 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 da. Man, dog, you still got to go out there and compete. And there's lots of other guys doing the same shit. There's lots of other guys. There's lots of other people doing the same thing, going from a different team to another one or whatever. But I'm pretty sure they're not going to stop talking to each other forever, like they never been in the trenches. You can't go from, oh yeah, taking pictures with one another, aspiring to get that Larry O'Brien, even winning a Larry O'Brien together, and then all of a sudden he ain't your brother no more. That's bullshit. And as much as I like KG, you know what I'm saying, and I love his game and stuff, he was wrong for that shit. I don't care what anybody says. So I hate when I'm scared of anyone. Ain't no grown man scared of nobody. Only our community does this. Yeah, exactly, man. They always they always put people in the category just because, okay, a guy, okay, he'll push you on the floor and everything. Yeah, I can understand why some people will be quick to judge a person that doesn't do anything or doesn't retaliate, because then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, they'll put you in the category of a punk or, you know, a coward or sissy or whatever. You know, but some of these idiots out here don't really understand that when you're a figure like LeBron who has a lot of power, every little single thing that you do is under a microscope. And more importantly, there are a lot of people that imitate what you do, to the point where their their son or their daughter is always saying, "Hey, I saw LeBron do this, so I'm gonna do it too." Or I saw John Morant do this, so I'm gonna do it too. Not realizing that their parents are listening to their child, and then they're gonna look at you a certain type of way. But see, some of y'all don't look at it like, yeah. Some of y'all don't look at it that way. Look, I look at basketball, football, baseball, you know, soccer. I look, I look at the ins and outs. I look at what's going on in the line, you know, between the lines, or on the field, and I look at what's going on behind the scenes to really understand, get a better understanding of what's taking place. Here's another thing that's gonna really, really, really mess you up. And well, I'm not trying to mess anybody up, but it's gonna really have you thinking, right? A lot of these players, man, before they step foot on that floor, or they take their foot on that field, there's a lot of evil people out there that say things to them right before the game, such as, "Hey, you better win this game, or else this is gonna happen. You better do this, or this is what's at stake." There's people out there like that. Somebody could have experienced, got the phone call that a family member, something happened to a family member. Somebody might that's close to them might be on the verge of taking themselves out because of whatever. What I'm saying is, and what I'm getting at is that these players are human beings. They have feelings, they have emotions and stuff. But despite all of that, they have to be wired in order to go. They have to be wired a different way in order to go out there and stuff. And so you messing with a guy out there that might be going through some family situation. Him and his wife might not be on the same term. His wife might have just told him, "Hey, look, I cheated on you," or "Hey, I want a divorce," or look, I'm about to leave, or something like that. You don't know how that guy is probably feeling at that point in time. So he's liable to snap on you. You understand what I'm saying? But y'all just expect these players to just be happy all the time and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? When it just doesn't happen like that all the time. It's just not that way. We are talking about real life, and when that ball is is not bouncing anymore, when them pads and that helmet comes off, they got to step into the real world just like anybody else. And then when it's all over, when they're done with their game, or retire or do whatever it is that they do for the rest of their life, guess what? They become a normal citizen. And believe it or not, a lot of guys can't handle just being regular. And so if people come to them and talk shit to them, guess what? They're not able to handle it because they'll be like, oh wow, LeBron James, man, you used to be this, you used to be that. Now you're washed up. There's a lot of players. There's a lot of players that listen to that type of stuff. And how this correlates to what I'm saying is that y'all don't understand to what magnitude the shit talking that these guys got to put up with constantly. And, gotten a lot of young men killed. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Unfortunately, and of course, I don't want to take it there. That's a whole nother thing. But it's just we have to understand that KG, he's wired different than LeBron James. LeBron James is wired different from Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony was wired different than from Kobe Bryant. God rest his soul. Kobe Bryant was wired different than from a Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan was wired different than from a Steve Nash. Steve Nash was wired different than from a CP3. You know, all of these players are their own individuals. They're their own individuals, man. And you can't sit there and try to, find any way. Like you try to sit there and you like, oh well, I want LeBron, man. He need to be tougher. He need to do this. Oh well, the minute he becomes tougher, oh okay, then he becomes a bully. Oh, LeBron's too big and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? But then LeBron does this or LeBron does that. He's the worst person in the world. So like I said, he can't win. He can't win. And I don't need to get on here all the time, And this is another thing too. This is the other thing that tripped me out too. I'm not going to explain myself saying, okay, before every time I talk about LeBron or something like that. No, don't get me wrong, man. I don't like LeBron or anything like that. Look, man, whether I like the nigga or whether I don't like the nigga or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It don't have nothing to do with me analyzing the sport aspect of that individual. Whether I like a particular boxer or don't like a particular boxer. Like I told you earlier, I was talking about Jamar Charlo. Don't care for him and some of the stuff that they do. But I'm not going to sit up here and say that motherfucker can't box. So I'm not going to sit up here before talking about a person all the time and be like, you know what? I don't like that person, but I'm not gonna say that shit. Don't need to say that shit. And if you got a problem with me not saying that shit, you don't have to fucking listen to me. You know? Everybody got their own fucking opinion. I'm not gonna sit here and stop liking, somebody, just because they might not like, a particular player or something like that. I think that shit is childish, man. It's like a bitch that won't fuck you just because you a Trump supporter. Let me stop, man. Hey, like this video, share, subscribe. Also hit the notification. Until then, it's Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. I'll get at y'all later.